Welcome to the Education Innovators Podcast. I'm Eric Byron. This is season 4, and it is my privilege to host this show where I get to talk with thought leaders and experts from all over the world. We're going to hear amazing stories of innovation in education from teachers, consultants, and AI experts and others who are fearlessly innovating and creating unique active learning experiences. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started.
That if you educate one person, you can change a life. If you educate many, you can change the world. I think that the vision is to exactly that, to make higher education affordable and accessible with the right quality to everyone, to use everything on the net, to make it efficient and affordable, and to give every single person in the world the opportunity for higher education, because we believe that education should be a basic right. And if everyone will have the opportunity for higher education, we will have a different slash better world.
My guest today is Shai Reshef. He has a simple vision: change the world through accessible, high-quality higher education. And he isn't just dreaming about this, he's doing it. You have to listen to this incredible story and the positive impact that he's having on countless lives all over the world. Keep listening. Today, I have Shai Reshef. He is the president of the University of People, UoPeople. Shai has over 25 years of experience in the international education market and has been awarded the 2023 Yidan Prize for Education Development, referred to as the Nobel Prize for Education. And amongst many other awards, he was also selected by the Huffington Post as the ultimate game changer in education. So UoPeople is the first nonprofit, tuition-free American accredited online university dedicated to opening access to higher education globally. Welcome, Shai.
No, thank you, and thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, no, this is going to be fun. I hope you enjoy this conversation. I'm actually really anxious to hear your story. It's fascinating, but I want to start with kind of the vision. So UoPeople, you worked in for-profit education before deciding to found this school in 2009, I believe. So I want to know what motivated you to switch gears, right, to take this path, and how much has the vision or the approach changed since you started, looking at ways to make higher education accessible for everyone?
Okay, so well,
That's a
it's a
big
lot.
question.
I a little bit about how the university started. I was, as you said, in for-profit education. I was in charge of tens of programs of hundreds of thousands of students, mainly in Europe, where I started the first online university in outside of the US through a partnership with the University of Liverpool. So University of Liverpool Online was my creation.
Hmm.
And that's where I realized how powerful online learning can be. We had students from all over the world. They can stay home, keep their job, and still get this great European education. At the same time, I also realized that for most people, it was nothing but a wishful thinking. It was too expensive. In the US, people pay for education. In many parts of the world, people do not, and even if they want to, they cannot afford it. So it was, on the one hand, a great success, but at the same time, I felt kind of like we're missing a great opportunity. I ended up selling this university. It was for profit. I came to New York, semi-retirement, just to realize that it's not really for me. I felt that I want to continue, but I wanted to make sure that I'll do it in a way that will have an impact on the world. And I looked around and I realized that everything that made this European university so expensive is available for free at the time. Open source technology, open educational resources, and the new culture where professors came online every day and helped students with their homework for free. And I said, wait a second, that's all the ingredients of a university. All I have to do is to put it together. So I announced it in Munich in January 2009. And the idea was, as I said, I wanted to come back. I wanted to have impact on the world. For me, it was clear that it will be education because we all know that if you educate, well, all the people in education know that if you educate one person, you can change a life. If you educate many, you can change the world. And I decided that what I want to do is to start a tuition-free university. And I announced it in Munich, January 2009. The next day, the New York Times wrote a page about it. And the following day, I had hundreds of emails from professors who said, we want to make it happen.
Hmm.
And they built it. So that's how the university started. The vision was to open the gates of higher education for those who have no alternative. At the time, in 2009, UNESCO published that in 2025, there will be 100 million students without seats in the then available universities.
Hmm.
And the idea was that higher education can be open to everyone. So that was the idea, to open the gates to those who have no other alternative. We based it on volunteers in order to be tuition free. And since then, we pretty much build the university, make sure all the time that whatever we do is the most efficient way to make sure that we can be tuition free. It doesn't mean that we're free. We expect the students to pay when they study for free, but when they get to the exam, we expect them to pay $160 for the assessment per course, which means a full BA is $6,400, a fraction of any other American university. We got accreditation and we simply grow and deliver more and more degrees.
That's awesome. So, so I guess the vision is to change the world, right? Educate many and change the world. Yeah.
I think that the vision is to exactly that, to make higher education affordable and accessible with the right quality to everyone, to use everything on the net, to make it efficient and affordable, and to give every single person in the world the opportunity for higher education because we believe that education should be a basic right. And if everyone will have the opportunity for higher education, we will have a different slash better world.
Yes. So I have loved the statement, and you'll see it in a lot of my posts. I call education the great equalizer. That when
Yep,
people have education, they have options and opportunity and hope, right? When you don't have education, you likely don't have those things, or they're a lot
exactly.
more difficult. So cool. So when did you get accredited? And how did that process work?
So, as I said, we started in 2009. We announced in January, we started admission in April, and September 2009, we already had our first 178 students. In 2014, we received our initial accreditation from the DEAC, Distance Education. In 2025, we received our second accreditation from WASC, Western Accreditation Association, which is that's our status right now. It's the same accreditation of Stanford, Berkeley, UCLA, so it's great accreditation. Accreditation was a long ride. I mean, it takes a lot to get accredited because both accreditation check you very carefully, make sure that you have everything that needs to have a quality education, that you're financially stable, that your program are high quality, that you have the right processes, etc. But after a while at the beginning, I thought, why do we need it? So much work. We can be good. Why do we need someone to check us? It's a very important because the world look at it. Some of our students were not able to continue to master degree. Even with the DAC, some were not able
Yeah.
to go to master degree or the degree was not recognized in some countries. Even Germany didn't recognize it. Only when we became a WASC accredited, the doors were open. And, we do it because the students feel it is important. They push for it, and we are there. We are here for the students. So if it's important for them, it's important for us.
Yeah, I recall when I was teaching for University of Phoenix, they were also very concerned about their accreditation. And yeah, as a professor, there was all kinds of kind of administrative stuff you had to be really careful you did, particularly around issuing grades for students and students getting credit for a class and being able to prove that they really did the work and earned that grade that they received. So yeah, no, it is important, and I get it, right? It's validation that it's real
Exactly.
education. It's not just a piece of paper that
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, somebody's
Yeah.
paying for, yes, just to get a piece of paper. So tell me about Afghan women. I noticed that one of the kind of target areas, and I just think this is such a great story, is particularly trying to help these women. So don't tell me that story about.
Okay. So we started in 2009. By now we have 100, over 170,000 students coming from 213 countries. But our population is mainly global, and a lot of them are people who cannot afford higher education and need our services. We have refugees coming from all over the world. We have stay-home mom. We have people who are survivors of the genocide in Rwanda, the earthquake in Haiti, and as I said, a lot of refugees and IDPs. Now, when the Taliban, and you ask specifically about Afghanistan, when the Taliban took over and they banned women from studying, we said, no way, we need to help. It was a challenge originally because I said, well, how do you spread the word in Afghanistan? But it turned out that our people knew better than me, and they said, don't worry. We decided to offer scholarship for Afghan women to join us and study with us. And in a matter of days, thousands of them applied. By now, we have 5,400 Afghan women who are hiding at home and studying with us via the internet, obviously. We ask them not to leave their home, not study outside of their home, keep it in
Mm,
secrecy, change their names if they're worried. So if you sit in a class and you have Jane from California, she might be Afghan woman.
okay.
What we are extremely proud is that recently we started a couple of years ago, and by now we have graduates. And we did survey, and 60% of the graduates are working remotely, still hiding at home, working remotely as programmers with international companies, which for me, kind of like, that's exactly the reason we started the university. That's exactly the reason we help Afghan women. By the way, by now we have about 9,000 Afghan students studying from Afghanistan and another 4,000 studying from outside of Afghanistan. But inside Afghanistan, we have 5,400 women. Amazing stories I told you about the graduates. I just met a student of us who were about to graduate the Kabul University, and she was sent home. They didn't let her graduate. She came to us. She completed the degree and went to Pakistan, applied for American University, and got accepted to Carnegie Mellon. Now she's studying at Carnegie Mellon. Amazing success because, you know, some of them are amazing students, obviously, and why not? So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think so. I actually remember once I had a ed tech startup here in Hong Kong, and we offered a scholarship to a refugee who was here, and he was so dedicated, right? I mean, he wanted this so badly and knew, that he couldn't screw up this opportunity. So I can imagine that these women view this similarly, right? You guys are offering them something that is so vital, to them that they're going to take it very seriously. They're going to be good students.
I can't agree more. We have about 35 refugees and IDPs, internally displaced people, and their results are somewhat better than the other students.
Yeah.
And for that reason, exactly for that reason, it's for us. It reminds me that once a journalist asked me, How are we compared to the alternative? And my answer was, compared to the alternative, we are amazing. Simply because there is no alternative for our students. It's us or nothing. And
Yeah.
and a lot of them grab it strong and do their best to complete their degrees and do it very well. Yeah.
Yeah. So faculty, talk to me about how I know you said initially you had a whole bunch of professors and faculty respond and say they wanted to help, but how's that gone? This is an extended period now since 2009. Here we are in 2025. Has it been consistent and sustainable with getting professors to commit their time unpaid to do
So
this?
we have now 47,000 volunteers. Okay. So the world
47.
actually wants us to succeed and wants to volunteer and help us.
Yeah.
Our professors, most of them are volunteers, mainly from the US, but not only. They are from all over the world. And they are actually coming to us. We have three kinds of professors who volunteer for us. Either retired professors, and what can be better for a retired professor who like to teach, to wake up in the morning, take your cup of coffee. Well, this is water. Your
Yeah.
cup of coffee. Open your laptop, and here you have a refugee from Afghanistan, a refugee from Syria, I don't know, a woman who sells fruits in Tanzania, and they're all your students. And, it's amazing experience. Others are people who work with tenure in regular universities and they want to give back, but also young professors who want to get experience, to get our credit or our logo on their CVs. They come to us and usually they tend to stay. It's so satisfying. It's
Hmm.
amazing. They love it. It's not easy. I mean, when you're a professor, you're expected to spend 10 to 15 hours a week per course. That's a lot.
Yeah.
A student, by the way, spend 20 to 30 hours a week. So it's a lot of work. It's very intensive, but for the students, it's very interactive. For the professors, it's satisfying. And we don't have shortage of professors. And as I said, they are just staying with us and continue helping our students.
Yeah. So how much has the kind of curriculum developed over the years? So, and how much have you been able to tap into other kind of things going on? Like I commented before we started here that I went through University of Phoenix online for a master's, so it was completely online. In fact, my wife did a master's online as well, University of Leicester in the UK. So she did it remotely there. So we have some experience in this, and I'm curious how much you've been able to leverage from observing some of these other institutions, even doing it for profit, to see how they kind of structure the courses and the delivery of the content.
I would say two things. First of all, regarding the content, we started with a bachelor degree, business administration and computer science. Later on, we added a health science and master level. By now, we have a MBA, Master in Business Administration, a Master in IT, and Master in Education in collaboration with the IB. So that's the degrees that we offer. There are some more that are in the pipeline. However, the idea is to only offer degrees that will help our students find a better job. Our students coming from
Mm,
hardship. These are students, many of them have a lot of personal issues, social issues, etc. And they come to us in order to have a better future. So while our programs are liberal arts and one-third of our degrees are general studies, the idea is to offer them degrees that will help them find a job. And, that's why we chose those degrees.
mm,
We We looked, I had an online university, as I mentioned, before I started University of the People. So I knew what online university should have. I think that the main difference is that when we look at what we do, always the question is, how do we give the students what they need? nothing more than what they need, and give it in high quality and do it the most efficient way. And I'll give you two examples. First of all, I mentioned we have very few degrees. We also have very few electives. Moreover, we don't let the student choose any course they want because we don't want to be in a situation where a lot of students get stuck is where they take too many courses, but they then never have the the courses that they need in order to graduate. So we actually
Mm.
direct them now take this course and this course and this course because we want them to make sure that they move toward a degree, hopefully as fast as possible. We have very few electives and we have very few programs. This is one. Second, we build an admission process that is pretty much different than any other university, but it's the most efficient. We tell all the students, you have high school diploma, proficiency in English, come, take two courses. Nothing, we don't need to check anything else. Take two courses. One is a general course about what it is, teaching them how it is, studying online, what to expect, our peer-to-peer assessment, how to search material over the internet, etc., and to write essays. The second one is a course in their field of choice, business administration, computer science, or health science. Take these two courses, see that you like the program, see that you have the motivation, see that you have the self-discipline, let's see that you have the academic qualities to pass them, you pass them, get credit for them and continue as a degree-seeking student. You don't pass them, you cannot continue with us. This is our admission
Hmm.
process. Now, when you think about it, you know, it's the most efficient way to accept students and also the most economical way because I don't need to have, a university with 170,000 students. Other universities this size, there are not many of those, will have thousands of admission officers looking at your CV and look at Facebook if it's really you and check this and check that. I don't care. If you meet my standards and you pass my courses, you're good enough to study with me. That's the best way. Why should I care how well you did in high school? Show me that you can meet my standards.
Mm.
So it's both, I believe, amazing way, the best way to select students, but also very efficient. So that's pretty much how we make us being able to be tuition free in spite of giving high quality accredited degree to students globally.
Yeah. So let's talk about the language thing because you mentioned it there, right? So English is required. So in today's world, AI can enable a lot of translation. Are you looking at ways now to start allowing students to come in who are non-English speaking?
Well, first of all, I should have said we teach in English and in Arabic. Following
Okay.
the war in Syria, we were jammed with Syrian students because all the universities were destroyed, or most of them, and they tried to study with us, but they couldn't make it because of the language. So we raised money and we decided to open a program in Arabic. We have by now about 20,000 students studying in Arabic and 30,000 from Arab countries, but 20,000 of them studying in Arabic. Now, regarding AI, look, we believe that AI is the future. It's the future of higher education, and it's our future as well. Talking about languages, it's still not there, but when it's there, why not? I mean, we can send the material in English, and the students in Hong Kong, if they don't speak English but Chinese, get it in Chinese, answer in Chinese, and we get it back in English. So yeah, I think that it's not there yet. The technology is not there yet, but I believe that it will take some time, but it will be there, and we will definitely look at it. We believe that AI should be in everything that we do, from the administration part. It should help us recruit better students
Yeah.
because, I mentioned about our screening, taking foundation courses, two courses, and needing to pass them. we attract a lot of students that has no way to pass the course, and they're simply not qualified. Why should they bother and why should we bother with them? Let's have a better selection. We help them in the retention. AI can help us identify students at risk before even they know that they're at risk and get involved right there to help them
Mm.
continue, help them with any difficulty they have, and then all the way to graduation. But this is just one part of the spectrum. The other part is all the academic. AI can help us write the courses. Yes, professors need to read what AI does, but it can save tons of time. It can help students with answers. You put all your content in the AI, and any question that the students ask about material that is in the content, the AI can answer that. AI can create courses, so it can be personalized learning. Also, in the long run, you can design courses according to what the students like, which means that, they like to study slow, they like to study fast. They like to have videos or they like text. They like to have recording. They like to be asked question after every paragraph to make sure that they understand. They like a discussion. Well, they like cars. Their passion in life is car. Well, let's build a curriculum around cars, make it much more interesting for them. So you can really build a personalized learning. Now, again, it's a matter of time. We are looking at it. We're starting to work on it. It will take some time, but we believe that it will be an important part of our offering. Except that I need to say that everything that I said now is what we expect to happen. Maybe a year from now we talk and AI will be totally something different. Who knows? So yeah,
Yeah. Well, I will say
development.
on the you used an example of the Chinese language thing. So I live in Asia and I don't speak or read Chinese. So I will say I do use AI to help me and it's become, I mean, pretty darn good at it. So I can take a picture of something in Chinese, give it to Google Gemini, and it will pull out the Chinese text and translate it for me, and it gives me both. So it says, yeah, here's
Yeah,
the characters in Chinese, here's what they mean in English, and my wife does speak Chinese and can read it, and so I've had her check some of these translations I've done, and
yeah,
they're really really good. You get into colloquial stuff, yeah, of course it's going to get confused, or in the technology space, right? IT, some of that terminology written in Chinese may not line up, right in English, but yes, it's getting there very very quickly. So anyway, no, this is
it's
all, yeah, it's really, really
very
good. I'm,
good.
I'm so excited about what you're doing and the way it's advancing. And I'm really encouraged by the fact that you are embracing the AI. So, but the one thing that worries me, particularly in online schooling, is, everybody's talking about this concern with cheating, right? So because an online faculty member never really sees you, how do they how do you avoid the concern that students are having their essays or assignments or even their posts that they're doing in discussion posts are being written by AI?
Well, first of all, it's the same issue with face-to-face universities who give the students assignment and who wrote the assignment. I think that we should face reality. And the reality is that all the students use AI. You can tell them, don't use AI. You can do whatever you want. They will use AI. And it makes sense. It makes their life much
Yeah.
easier. The question is how to use AI properly because it can help you a lot. And I go back to when Wikipedia came and professor told students, don't use Wikipedia. Well, students use Wikipedia. So don't fight it, embrace it and see how to make it the best it can. And AI can be there. So we tell the students, here's the question, go to AI and get the answer. Now, when you get the answer from AI, read it and let us know if you and criticize it. Value it. Tell us if you think that it is right and why, or it is wrong and why. Edit it if needed. Third, while you're doing it, tell us what are the sources that AI use for the answer. So if you read what the AI wrote and you actually did evaluate it and look at the sources and corrected whatever, you have done your work. So
Yeah.
do I need you to go and read an article of 20 pages to write one paragraph? Maybe it would be good if you do that. It's not mandatory. So what we're saying, we use AI as a tool for learning and make sure that the students use it the proper way. And we think that our students do it, or at least most of them. By the way, usually if they don't do it, you know that they did it because you, because AI is still not 100% human beings. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think so for me, my view on it is, there's kind of two types of students there, right? There's the student who wants to learn, they care about the learning. And if you care about the learning, you're going to leverage AI to help you learn. But if all you care about is the piece of paper that says I have a degree, then you're going to cheat to the max. So you
And
still have to
and
combat
also
that, right? Because of
exact,
accreditation. You don't want to have students just going through the motions to get a piece of
but
paper and they haven't learned anything.
they have exam. They can't use AI for the exam. Actually, we use AI. Well, we use a company that proctor them, or we are now moving to a company that do proctoring, AI proctoring of the students. So, most likely, if you cheated all along, you don't know the material and you can't pass the exam. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, tell me about the exam format then. How do you do those assessments?
So, originally, we used to send the students, they needed to nominate a proctor. The proctor must have been either a clergy, government official, or reputable person in their community. We vet this person, send the exam to this person, the students come to this person, identify, and take the exam in front of them.
Oh,
Now we're moving to AI proctoring, which means that you sit, the AI watch you, and in 4 seconds determine if you're cheating or not. And if you determine that you're cheating, you are being sent automatically to live human being to determine if indeed you were cheating. And if so, you're doomed.
oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen that before. AI proctored test where the AI, so you have a camera on you basically, and the
Yeah.
AI is watching you, and it's obviously
Exactly.
watching what you're doing on the screen. So if you're going out using another device to look something up and AI going to
Yeah.
perplexity or whatever, right, it's going to bust
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
for,
And it's inexpensive, very accurate, and make sure that the students, can that the students, we need it's important. It's important to make sure that you check them. As you said,
yeah.
for some, you don't need to. Some better have it. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How do the students feel about that? Do they agree
About
that it's
about
important about
the
using the
proctoring.
AI, yeah, to proctor the exams?
Well, for them, it's not AI, it's proctoring. You know what I mean?
Okay,
It's not a. You know what? We never asked the students what they think about AI. On the other hand, we never got a complaint. Oh, no, we did get a complaint. Well, the proctor didn't get the exam. I couldn't find, but
yeah,
technical thing, not the
right.
proctoring itself. But yeah,
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
from day one, proctoring from day one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But using AI to do the proctoring is fairly
No,
new.
no, we're just starting. We're just
Yeah,
starting.
of just starting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's external company, it's not us.
Right. Oh,
Okay.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a piece I wasn't expecting. All right, let's take a quick commercial break. As usual, I'm going to plug the Human Intelligence Movement, not a paid advertisement. I'm just a fan. I want to say a few good words about the work they're doing. The mission of the Human Intelligence Movement is to ensure that students have the skills to thrive and succeed in an AI world. You should join the movement, support these guys and the work they're doing. I've got a link in the show notes so you can click on that and check them out. The Human Intelligence Movement. All right, now back to my conversation with Shai Reshef. We're going to dig in a little deeper into the pedagogy. We're going to talk about a hybrid model that combines the tuition-free UoPeople approach with some on-campus university studies as well. Let's go. Okay, let's talk about this innovative thing you're calling 2 and 2. So it sounds like it's a hybrid approach, 2 years on campus and 2 years online.
Or it
Now,
can be 1 and 3, depending on the country. Some
yeah,
countries, the BA is 3 years. Look, the idea is that higher education is getting more and more expensive. In the US, it's simply become unthinkable. I mean, you know, people pay $100,000 a year to attend university. It's like clearly the KPIs, the ROI, the return on investment is not there. And that's the main reason that less and less students going to higher education, not because they don't believe that higher education is important. They don't believe it is important enough to justify the investment.
yeah,
But all over the world, higher education is getting more expensive. The UK is a great example because 20 years, 30 years ago, it was free in the UK. Now it's getting closer to the price of the US and other countries because, government have tight budget and the budget get tighter and tighter, and higher education tend to be the first place to save, to cut.
yeah,
So I come and say it's great to have 4 years on campus. You meet friends, you have social life, you meet your professors, you meet students, amazing. However, it's too expensive. And what I say is, especially for US universities, send the students to study 2 years online and come back to campus for 2 years. If you study 2 years online, you have the flexibility, you have the quality, you have the content, you save the money, and you come to campus for 2 years. Well, 2 years is not 4 years, but it's better than nothing. You have experience of 2 years. But if the university do it as the way we do it, it would be tuition free. So you save half of the cost of higher education, which is amazing.
mm,
And listen, today when you look at the US, every single student in the US take at least one course online. Online is there. Online is growing dramatically because students realize that the quality is there, the flexibility. Students take courses online simply because some of them, the course is 8 o'clock in the morning. They want to drink the night before. Why do they have to wake up in the morning? They
yeah,
can go online, watch the course at 12 o'clock. When they wake up finally, the professor speak too slowly, they can run it faster. The professor speaks unclearly, they can stop and listen again. Online give them a lot of freedom, a lot of opportunities. So more and more students studying online. Online, universities in the US are shrinking. We are growing, but we are growing worldwide. And what we say is embrace it. And if you have a challenge, a university, go online for 2 years. Cut your cost by half. Now, for universities might say, well, but if we move 2 years tuition free, we lose half of our revenues, right? Because the student. Well, yes, but there are ways to overcome it because if you're a selective university, you take 5,000 students a year. So you have altogether, I'll just make the numbers,
yeah,
20,000 students. So 10,000 students are online and 10,000 students are coming to campus. So if you're selective, double the enrollment. So you will still have 20,000 students studying on campus. So you use all the facilities, you get the same revenues. Simply they study in campus for 2 years instead of 4 years. And when they study at home, you don't lose revenues. They pay half of the price. You use the facilities, you use the professor. So for universities that are selective, it's a great solution. They lose nothing and still make it much more affordable to the students. Universities that are not selective, well, they have an issue, but they have an issue anyway. So they better either team up with other universities, merge to have the volume. Maybe they should specialize, change their offering because, higher education is shrinking in the US and more students deciding not to go to higher education and more universities are being closed. So instead of
Yeah.
being closed, either move to online, at least partially, or team up with merge with other universities.
Yeah, I know a lot of schools have attempted to do, the combination. Of course, University of Phoenix, I mentioned earlier, now they're waning now, but they were kind of in their heyday when I was there, and I was teaching on campus and taking classes online. So I never did teach online for University of Phoenix, but I did look at that option at one point, but it just never quite lined up for me. But it also, what you were just saying hit me too. My own experience. Again, my daughter, when she wanted to go to University of Washington in Seattle, but she looked at it and said, if I go to community college for 2 years, I can save a ton on the tuition, right? Then
Exactly.
matriculate to, UOW and end up with a degree from UOW. Nobody's going to question what did you do your first 2 years. They're just going to see, oh, you have a degree from UoW, right? But yes, it was cheaper and more flexible, easier to get in, get those credit hours. Now, was the quality of education as high at the community college? No. The professors weren't as great. So you suffer some sacrifice to do 2 years at the community college before going to the full campus. But as you say, the cost was dramatically reduced by doing that option. So yeah, it's almost an extension of that philosophy, that
Exactly.
approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, today employers look, we have graduate who I mentioned the students who went to Carnegie Mellon. We have a graduate in MIT. So we have graduate who go to great universities because online today it has benefits. For example, you need discipline that you don't have in face-to-face university. So you are a serious student if you graduate. So more you work in teams. Every time you take a course with us and you are with 20 students from 20 different countries, you get to know the world, you get to know cultures, you
Mm,
open your mind. So there are a lot of benefits in online, and I think that and I know that employers appreciate. And today, almost every university offer courses online, so
yeah.
it means that they embrace the quality as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a question about kind of cohorts. So you mentioned that it's pretty structured. You tell students you're going to take, these courses, you don't give them a lot of electives. Does that enable the ability for a group of students to kind of go through a degree together, building relationships and, seeing the same students in multiple classes?
If they want to. It's not built in the program. Moreover,
Okay.
because of the type of students we have, we let them up to 10 years to complete a degree. So you
Okay.
start and life gets in the way and you need to take a term off and then you take only one class and then you take two courses. So, and every time we take a class, we mix it with different students. Now, some students we have a couple of students who got married. So,
Okay.
But it's up to you. I
Yeah.
know that first of all, we have our social network to let them interact outside of the class. I know that there are WhatsApp groups to every part, up a WhatsApp group for students from Indonesia, from Nigeria, and actually it goes per cities in many cases, not
Okay.
country. And they can, but it's not something we are actually building into the program. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mentioned that also from personal experience. So I went through that master's degree and I staggered it, right? So I would teach a class, then I would go take a class, and then I would teach a class, and then I would go take a class. But because of that disruption in the schedule, I don't think I ever had a, a student in a class that I had had in a previous class. Every
Yeah.
class was brand new. The problem with that is I got to the end of my degree, I had no friends, no relationship with anybody I had gone through,
No,
the master's
it
with. Yeah.
Look, it's a good point, and now that the graduates are accumulating, we have more and more graduates. We are going to invest in our alumni and try to build community and help them, because when I go places, many times I ask the students if they want to meet me. I did one in Hong Kong a couple of years ago.
Mm.
And 30 students came and like they were shocked. Wow, we didn't know that there are so many students in Hong Kong. Let's exchange email and WhatsApp and phone numbers. But on the other hand, if you want, you can do it anyway. But you go
Yeah.
online, and in many cases, you do it because you don't want this social life. You just want your work, you want to study and complete a degree. But we should offer it for those who want to have these
Yeah.
personal relations. And yeah, we should do more than, and we will. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually it is one of the things that came out of both of those other conversations I mentioned that I've had, two other podcast episodes with folks that specialize in online education, and they both emphasized the importance of relationships that between faculty
Yeah.
and students with students, that anywhere you can kind of layer that in and get them, really talking to each
It-
other, making friends, that helps them stay engaged and kind of an accountability thing too. Oh, I'm feeling tired. I don't want to do this, but you got a friend in the class
We,
who's, saying, "Hey, come on, we can get this done." You know,
I know that students keep talking about their instructors. And when you ask students when they graduate about their experience, usually this is the best professor I had. So, and in many cases, they keep in touch with them because I know that I'm getting emails years after they graduate, either from the professor or from the students talking about the relationship that they built.
yeah.
Um, Students to students, I don't know, which doesn't mean that they don't build it, but they don't feel that I need to know about it, which is okay. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yes. You don't necessarily want to know what kind of relationships they're having. I get
Yeah,
that.
even I
Yeah.
told you about a couple of students who got married. We learned it from Facebook, not because they told us so. Yeah.
Well, that certainly happens with college students. They get married. That's a good thing. Yeah. Love is in the
Well,
air. Why not? Yeah. So, well, let's wrap up. This has been really, really great, and I so appreciate you coming on and talking about this stuff because certainly it's in my heart, right? This is why I do this podcast is also to share these stories and kind of tell the world there's good things happening in education, right? It's not all bad. It's not all in decline. There's many places where folks like you are putting in the effort to try and make quality education available to the masses. And as we talked earlier, right, what was that quote? If you educate one, you can change a life. If you educate many, you can change the world. I do love that
I believe
quote.
in it. I believe in it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, last words,
We are on the way,
thoughts. What's coming? What's on the
changing the
horizon?
world.
Changing the world, yes.
Look, we actually a lot of things. So one of them is that we have partnership with IBM to offer students IBM certificates
Hmm,
in data analytics and or cybersecurity. And the idea is they get IBM certificate, they can go to the job market, but at the same time, they accumulate credit over the degree with us. So after they get a certificate, they can go and work, but they can continue study with us or both.
hmm.
We just got a scholarship for 800,000 from Coca-Cola for third generation students around the world. So a lot of things are happening with us, and partnering with companies like IBM and Coca-Cola is important for us.
Yeah,
And we talked about AI, so a lot of things are developing, but the idea is, uh, our goal is to grow as long as we can maintain the quality. So to
yeah,
continue growing as long as we can maintain the quality until one day we wake up and see that all the students in the world are being served and they don't need us anymore. Then we'll stop, wake up with another dream. But since I don't believe it will happen in the next couple of years, our goal is to continue our growth and serve more and more students, have a better offering for them, and serve those who need us most, whether they are in remote areas, whether they are, politically being deprived or cannot do it for any other reason, and eventually build a model to change higher education to make it much more accessible and affordable, but also open it to everyone who need it. So
Yeah.
that's our future.
Awesome. Well, I sincerely wish you all of the luck. I know it's not luck, it's hard work. You've put your heart and soul into this since you retired, and I know the feeling. I'm supposed to be retired too, and I'm doing this podcast, and I'm having a blast. It's been a
Yeah.
joy.
So I wish every retired person to do and enjoy as much as we do.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
yeah.
I did think of one other question. Have you had any graduate come back and want to teach?
Oh, yeah, a lot of them.
A lot of them.
A
Okay.
lot of them. Yeah, yeah. MBA graduates who want to teach undergraduate in business administration. Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Both in Arabic and in English. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of graduates help us, whether it is volunteering, donating, spreading the word. So, yeah,
Yeah. Advocates for the program. I love it.
exactly.
Of course. All right. Well, Shai, thank you so much for being on the show.
So, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, and let's indeed be in touch.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The University of the People has over 170,000 students from over 200 countries, and they're providing, access to higher education to students who would have no other means of acquiring, right, this education, gaining the education that can change their lives. So Shai makes it, sound so simple and obvious, but the work he's doing and the impact he's having is profound, right? Not all innovation in education is about technology. This is really about people and the 47,000, right, volunteers, educators who commit their time and their talent to give the underprivileged hope and opportunity. When you educate one, you change a life. When you educate many, you change the world. I'm Eric Byron. Thanks for listening to the Education Innovators podcast. To all those education innovators out there, keep doing what you're doing. You are making a difference.